up, my loves? It's your girl Diamond, and I'm back with my own review of The Real Housewives of Atlanta. Let's get into it. So the first scene we have is Angela and Charles. They go out on a little date. We know that Charles is a retired, still pension-earning NBA player. He owns multiple car washes in the state of New York, and he is a coach of the Big Threes, which is a basketball league created by Ice Cube. So Charles is a workaholic, okay? He likes to work. He likes to go where the money goes. I'm not knocking that. But seeing their interactions is a bit uncomfortable because he always does the most to not be affectionate towards her. When they were talking back and forth, she asked for a kiss. He was fighting against it. He's like, what you want a kiss for? It's like, just give me a kiss. A simple peck that really did not show any love. It's like, do you care about her? Like, I find their interaction hilarious, but also exhausting because Angela told us he likes to be in opposition. He likes to play devil's advocate. He likes to listen to other people's perspective and other people's opinions versus going with his wife. And she defended it by saying that's their love language. Okay, they have a back and forth, bicker and banter type of connection. If you don't know what that feels like, I have that in my own marriage. Me and my husband, we go back and forth, we bicker and banter, but he does not shy away from showing affection towards me. When we're in public, when we're in our home together, like he still shows affection, even if he's talking shit about me. And I know that he's playing with me. But for Charles, I can't tell if he's playing. I feel like he's being dead ass. But I've said it before, you gotta have an enormous amount of patience of dealing with a man like Charles, dealing with his type of personality, the way he talks to you, don't take it personally. And I'm just like, there must be some really good redeeming qualities in Charles that Angela is so comfortable with staying with him, okay? Because I don't know what else to say to that. I really don't. Because she's trying to prepare for people to not believe that he don't love her by explaining how they operate. Like in the confessional, the producers asked him, we want to know if you love Angela. He was like, huh? So she laughed, but it's kind of like, maybe there's more to him than we're not seeing on camera. Maybe he is a completely different person when he's not on the show. But if you know your wife is going to be a part of this situation of being on reality TV and you're going to be on camera, you might want to do her a favor and actually show up that you like being on camera with her. You know what I'm saying? But moving on from there, she's talking about how she has not resolved her issues with her sister when they got into it with her daughter. And they have been avoiding talking about their issues. And Angela feels like all of her efforts were in vain in making sure that her family was comfortable because she wanted to provide for them, right? Especially when it came down to her sister. She helped her out with tax businesses, made sure she developed different life skills so she can learn how to make her own money. So Charles has dealt with that type of situation as well. So she asked him, how did he figure it out? He just walked away. Once he did what he could to help, and if they didn't figure it out, he's like washing his hands of them, creating boundaries, creating proper distances, but that's not what Angela wants to do. Angela wants to still keep them in a good place in their relationship. She wants them to still have a bond, even if she's helping them out, but if it doesn't go well, I don't want us to not talk to one another. But it's like a 2 and 2. One, there are family members who do feel entitled that you are able to help them out financially. And when they don't do it, they have their hand out like the grow sister, always ready for more, but you got to provide distance. But then it's also in the same category of what are you doing to make them feel like that they have to be constantly thanking you for what you've done for them, because if you want to constantly throw it in their face that you bought this, you spent this, you did this, they're not going to feel like they can do anything else without or you reminding them that you've helped them. So I don't disagree with Charles about keeping that boundary and removing yourself from not always helping your family, but she wants to keep things peaceful. She wants them to not have the unresolved issues. So she wants to invite her mother out for a day to hang out, to talk and move forward. Talk about it and move forward and have real peace in her family. I'm not against that. Kudos to you, Angela. We're going to move on. We now have Cynthia and Shamia. They meet up to discuss what took place at Portia's event, and Shamia definitely looks tired and worn out. She says she has not slept at all. Even when she arrived at Portia's event, she texted her mom and tells her, I am filled with sadness. I don't know why. So her mom said, I'm going to pray for you. Shamia said she felt like she was blindsided when it came down to her conversations being spread to Portia about how she feels about their friendship, and that she never would have expected for the ladies to put her friendship on the line up for discussion. Shamia, you weren't blindsided because your friendship was already on the line when you were already a friend of the show, and now that you're a full-time peach holder, we're still seeing a fraction in your friendship. But I just feel like you never expected to have a full-blown conversation about your friendship on camera. You thought this would have been something that would have never been discussed, but it's been discussed before. And Shamia, the way you keep on misdirecting the problem about how you felt about your friendship with Portia by saying it was the ladies that took something different to Portia, and that you would have never confided in any one of these ladies to discuss your feelings about your friendship, that is a lie. You have. Okay, when you went to the studio to check out your song, Angela and Drew was there, and they told you that they feel like you want more out of Portia. They feel like you did not feel support. And then you went out later that day and told them more about how you felt about Portia and made them to pinky promise not to tell Portia about how you felt. So, Shamia, I'm not really feeling your victim mentality about how all of this is not on you and all of this is on the ladies trying to force you to have a conversation when you've been avoiding having a conversation about your friendship. There have been some things you have spoken about when it came down to your friendship with Portia. So you pretty much led to everybody forming their opinions because they all see it. They all saw it the way she was 2 hours late to your birthday. They all saw it when she was talking over your song. They all saw it. So because they told you what they saw, you want to make it seem as if that they're seeing something different, and they're not. And she have said there have been a lot of people telling her and wondering and asking her, is Portia really her friend? Because they don't see her showing up for her. Then she says, no, we are friends. I know there have been some things she's done that I've been hurt by, but we moved on from it. But have you moved on from it? The ladies are seeing it right in front of you, and they're telling you how they feel. You are accepting how they feel because it's exactly what you've been feeling. So then Cynthia decided to connect it to her friendship with Nene on how she's had an up and down friendship with her, and that anytime that Nene will drag her, talk about her, she will always show up and have so much loyalty to her. Yeah, there are times where I wish Cynthia would not show up for Nene, because Nene definitely dogged Cynthia out every chance she got. And then she said that these people don't understand what it's like to be in a good relationship. No, I think they do, Shamia. They know what it's like to have a good friendship. They're just telling you what it's not like with you. They're not seeing a good friendship between you and Portia. Now, they might not know the full ins and outs of your friendship, but there's been enough history for us to see on the screen that you guys are not as close as y'all used to be. So then, even if there are other people letting her know about her friendship with Portia, there are other components, you know. There is their history between their mothers. Their mothers are very good friends. But she never thought that because their mothers ended up not being friends, why would you want that to be the same thing happening to us? And the only thing that Shamia said in her confessional in regards to what took place in the friendship was her mom thought that she had a good friend in Diane, and it wasn't reciprocated. So it makes me wonder, what was Portia talking about when she did that post and delete to say that Shamia spoke about the history between their mothers and that she is spilling details about what her mom did to Portia's mom when she didn't do that? So even when the producers asked Shamia, do you know what happened in their history about what made them not be friends anymore? And Shamia said, I'm not talking about it. So everybody that I've listened to have felt like the reason why they're not friends anymore is because of a man, okay? A man happens to be in the mix that made them not be friends anymore, and I am inclined to believe. And then there are other times that Portia will tell her of the things that Diane has spoke about her. Like she told Shamia that her mom said to not trust her. The apple don't fall too far from the tree. Be careful, the dog that carries the bone. And it's like, I have shown your mother the utmost respect ever since I met her back in middle school. And you mean to tell me your mother has never trusted me? Your mother has never liked me? And why would Portia even tell her that? Because she wanted to hurt her. So it's definitely reading to me that Diane is trying to project what she felt in her friendship with Shamia's mom onto what Portia should do in her friendship with Shamia. It's very obvious that that's what it's given to me. But I don't know what Cynthia was talking about when it came down to seeing them be so happy when they're around one another. And then Shamia said, she gives me so much joy. I feel so much happiness when I'm with her. We have so much fun together. I laugh every time. Okay, as much as you can have great times with her, but whenever it comes down to you having a serious conversation about the way she treats you, you suppress it and overlook it to you guys always having a good time. And how Shamia believes that this is a great friendship. But then Cynthia also said, I would want to have your type of dynamics in a friendship. You would, but also believe that they can get it back together. I guess. We'll see. Moving on. It was a simultaneous scene between Kelly, Britt, and Shamia. Okay, Shamia's in the studio picking out her single, and we want to see her sister and her friends there. And of course, Shamia cannot bask in this moment of being happy that she is now about to put out music that she's been wanting to do forever. She wanted to share this with Portia. But it's like, has Portia been a part of any of your singing journey? Because she has not been around any of the times you've been in the studio, putting down tracks. She didn't even showcase your song when it was released. She did not post it. Everybody else did but her. But her sister even said, this has been something we've been seeing brewing for a long time. And obviously this is something that Shamia didn't even see. Because she feels like this is a friendship that's worth fighting for. But then she's the only one that's fighting for it. Kelly is overseeing her restaurant, making sure that this Sandy Springs location is the right location. And then we also see Brisket picking out a dress to go to Napa Valley for her best friend's wedding. I was very happy. We did not see Britt for a long period of time in this episode. Okay, one scene done. Moving on. We now got Angela, Cynthia, and Portia. They go bowling. Portia wore this rainbow long bodysuit with all that ass just jiggling, ass just sitting like a shelf, and Cynthia is just so fatuated by looking at Angela's ass and Portia's ass. But Cynthia, don't sell yourself short. You got a beautiful body too. But Angela wanted to bowl with the bumpers because she just want to get a gutter ball, and then Portia threw her shade as well as Angela threw her shade. So it was a nice outing between the two of them. It is kind of interesting to see Angela and Portia move forward, but I do believe that Angela does not fully trust Portia because she could probably see what Shamia sees. Portia is fun to be around. You can have a great time with her, but you cannot trust her completely because she has no moral. She has no integrity about herself. But Portia talks about how this was nice for her to be out, for her to have a change of scenery, for her to think about other things other than this divorce, because she is noticing a change in her daughter. PJ is acting a bit more clingy. She is wondering why she's gone all the time, because she's out of the house more. And Portia wants to give us another sob story about how Pilar is just out of the blue wondering where Simon is. Okay, I'm not going to use what she thinks she has believed her daughter has called Simon. Like, where's Papa? I miss my Papa. First of all, Portia, it is so irresponsible of you to push for your daughter to call another man a term that is another father to her when she has her father. Simon was not involved in her life long enough for her to develop that type of relationship with him because you pushed your daughter onto him, right? But then, you know, she's like, where is he? She doesn't want to tell her daughter about the divorce and how he's in ICE. Okay, he's being detained and that he's at work. Well, he's been gone too long. And then she wants to text Simon about how much Pilar misses him and he left them on red. Stop using your daughter to get in contact with this man, okay? This is the same man who you did not know has been proven to be a scammer. You're going through a divorce. So why are you still trying to make it seem as if what y'all had was a real thing when y'all didn't have any of that? Like, what is happening right now? But then you just believe that it could be solved with just one conversation, but you wouldn't even give this man a second chance because he assumed that your mother was a part of a robbery. Like, make it make sense for me though, Portia. It's like, I don't feel sorry for Portia in this way. So Cynthia, I feel like, still tries to give Portia the space of not being open about what she got going on in her divorce. Even though we know she can't talk about it. But I am just exhausted with her not telling us what she has going on and using other situations to push the narrative away from her. And I don't like that she keeps on using the term fragile. She is so fragile. She cannot handle it. She's going through so much. I am not at the capacity that I need to be 100% with my friends. It's like, girl, bullshit. You're not this fragile when you're creating lies about Drew in regards to how she is putting out music, okay? You're not fragile that you're meeting up with her soon-to-be ex-husband to gain information about how she's been operating. You're not that fragile, Portia. Anyway, then we talk about her event where she wanted all the ladies to come together and have this be a safe space so we can all move forward, be about real sisterhood. I can't tell if you're constantly talking shit about Drew, if this is about real sisterhood. And when it came down to Shamia, how she was labeled to be a bad friend, and how she always has Shamia in her shadow and you don't want her to shine. And if you think about it, that's probably how she felt and probably has told you about those things, but you do what you always do. Be an emotional manipulator and blackmail her into not expressing how she feels towards you when all you can do is give off a half-ass apology and not accept accountability. You have not been a good friend to her and just swept it under the rug. Move forward. Like you have not really felt responsible of what you've done in your friendship with Shamia. So you think that yours is so fragile right now, you cannot operate on how to be a great friend. But good night, Portia. Like, I don't buy that. I don't buy that because you are going through so much with Simon. You're not recognizing that you're not a good friend. I don't believe that. But moving on. We got Drew. She had just came from her lawyer's office. She called her mom. Her mom has been there through everything. And especially after losing her father, her mom will drop everything to come down and be there for her. So we discovered that Drew's attorney is about to be recused from her case because that's what Ralph and his lawyer wants. Because he now wants to be the rightful owner of Drew Sidora LLC. So now they have another court date coming up, and this is where they're supposed to turn in all their financials. And Ralph still has not turned over his financials. The only information that's been received is all of Drew's financials. When it comes down to this LLC, so the first one he wants to be rightful owner of is the one she incorporated back in 2005. I had to look it up. She did not marry Ralph until 2014. And we all know they got married quickly, but she had already had that LLC established way before him. Then her attorney also created a whole new LLC just to keep him from getting any of that money. But now he wants 40% of both LLCs. And it's like, who the fuck are you? And why do you need ownership of what she already has created before you? Now, I'm not sure what took place in the middle of that made him have a percentage. But what you need her money for? Don't you make a lot of money? And Drew said he does make a lot of money, but she does not know how much he makes as far as what is his actual profession. Again, what is Rob's profession? I've heard he's in IT, but what else? Why do you need her money? It makes me wonder, all the money you've been doing by bragging about paying for everything in the house. So, and essentially, Drew has been the one taking care of everything. So she feels like the fact that he wants to take over her company is a big eye-opener for her. Her mom even said he's not paying child support. He's not helping you in any type of way when it comes to the kids. And she says she is providing for the kids 100% of the time. No, her mom is frustrated with the fact that she has to go through all of this. And it's like, who does this? But she's like, we have to come to some type of level of respect because we have to be co-parents for our children. But because he wants to be disrespectful. Because he's doing all of this to hurt the mother of his kids. But we all know he's getting the Martell Holt playbook, okay? He's doing everything he can to make it hard for him to be involved in his kids' lives because he's too busy hurting the mother of his kids. He is literally out of control, okay? He did another disrespectful thing. He locked her out of the house. When she wanted to put her access code to get inside, it had changed. He removed her from gaining any access of getting inside the house. And this was around 1 o'clock in the morning. So she had to go to a hotel, come back the next morning, where he was conveniently able to come inside the basement, come up the stairs, and unlock the door. Why couldn't you have sent it to her? You know you cannot come upstairs. That is against the court order. Hell no. So he obviously wants to still control the house. That I pay for everything. So because I pay for everything, I control what goes on in this house. Nigga, no, you don't. He did the exact same thing when he left for Tampa and was able to control everything around the house with just a click of a button. Now you want to control when she comes in and out of the house, but that has nothing to do with you. What she does upstairs has nothing to do with you when you're in the basement. But you still want to be hovering everything that she does. You want us to have access to her. You want us to control her and make her life a living hell because you guys are still living in the same house. Again, why did the court thought it was a great idea for them to live in the same house while going through this divorce. As if y'all don't see how petty this man has been. Like, Drew, I know you believe it's in your best interest of staying in that house, because once that house is being sold and they be divided, once y'all divorce is final, you can get proceeds and move on to a different house. But can you apply for some type of temporary living arrangement where you don't have to be with him? Because obviously he ain't caring about the kids. He don't do nothing for the kids, obviously. Like, I should have control of how I enter my home without him trying to control when I am entering my home. Like, that's some bullshit right there. Ralph, this is not going to work well for you. And Drew, you need to fix this. And I'm telling you right now, and I feel so bad for Drew because she should not be going through this. And again, you see how she's going through all of this, and yet none of the ladies besides Angela is rallying around her. Nobody is giving Drew the support that she really needs in going through this divorce. Because everybody is woo-woo-wooing Portia over her little divorce with a man that she barely knew. And I don't got time for it. And I'm moving on. So now we get Angela. First, RIP to Angela's mom, who passed away recently. And Angela gives us her history about her mom has always been there for her. She's been close. And when she was young, she has always dreamed of wanting to take care of her mom. And now that she had the opportunity to do so, she bought her mom a house that was around $500,000. But when her mom came over, she gave her the news that she picked up her keys. So she's moving out of the house. They bought a new house. I'm not sure if they sold the house that Angela bought for them, because I was wondering, how did they get the money to buy a new house? Because I wasn't sure if Angela had retired her mother completely to not work, so that way she took care of everything that she needed financially. But if your mom decided to sell the house you bought for her to help pay for a new house, it is what it is. But she told Angela, I want to be self-reliant. I want to live comfortably on my own. I appreciate what you've done, but I don't want this to be something else you got to worry about. I just want to live on my own and do things on my own. And I can't disagree with her mom, because if you're always telling them what you've done for them and you're always telling them what you have paid for them, they're going to feel like this isn't something I can enjoy living in. Because if you're going to constantly remind me that you bought this for me, you paid this for me, is it mine? Am I able to do what I want to do with it without you reminding me that you did it for me? So yeah, I want to move out. I want to have you stop worrying about me and have you stop hovering over me. So again, you know, Angela feels like all of her efforts she did to help her mom live comfortably was in vain. But then she feels like it's good. I don't got to worry about it anymore. It's one. While this is a lot of information that she is being dealt with all at once, her and her sister still haven't spoken when it came down to how her sister and her daughter got into it, and she got into her daughter's face. And when they had a flashback, she asked her mom, why didn't you say anything when my sister got into your granddaughter's face? Why didn't you defend it? The mom said that she didn't know what to say. She was shocked. So Angela was like, okay, mom. It was a reminder of what Angela felt when she was young, that her mom never really defended her. So I do think that that validation that Angela is seeking for wanting her efforts to be rewarded of the things she does for her family, and how she does want to be defended when she does do things out of the kindness of her heart, or as far as when she's not in the wrong, can you still defend me? So that's why she does it for Charles. Whenever she is trying to figure things out, she wants validation that I am at least trying. Like, you can defend my actions, defend how I am as a person. So she didn't get it from her mom, and she is barely getting it from her husband. So she's like, you know, sometimes I want you to, you know, stand up for me. I want you to be in the pay for me. I know that you did that when it came down to Charles, because we do know that at one point, Charles and her mom did get into it. And it was like, what was the reason why? And she said Charles was doing something. And then he just blurted out that Angela doesn't clean up. And that's when I just lost it, okay? I think out of everything I have been trying to forgive him for, it is all blew up once he said that. And I do understand where her mom could be coming from with that, because look at what Angela had to deal with when she got married to Charles. We got the Madison Square Garden incident. She said there was infidelity. So it's like, you're not about to say to me that my daughter will do nothing when she has been riding for you, defending you, still took your ass back when you were cheating, and you had that incident over there at Madison Square Garden, and my daughter was trying to be there for you. You didn't want her help. You wanted to do you, and da-da-da-da. I can definitely see that the mom was just holding in everything she couldn't stand about Charles when it came down to that incident and everything else that Angela had to go through in her marriage. So like, she didn't speak to him at all for 3 years. But now she wants to give him a letter of explaining everything that she feels. She does love him. And she even makes a crack about how we need to figure it out because we're the same age. And she was like, that's not funny. Don't talk about my husband's age like that. But I do enjoy seeing this conversation. And I do hope that Angela and her sister have a come to Jesus moment to fix their issues. So we're moving on. We now have Kelly. It is driving day with her oldest daughter, Chloe. And Kelly is screaming, making her daughter even more nervous. It's like, you cannot distract the driver, Kelly. Once you nervous, it makes her become nervous. So as far as her watching for the curb, making sure she's watching out for the cars, because when you are a driver, sometimes other people don't know how to drive. They might have gotten their license the other day. You got to be responsible for almost every car that's around you. So Kelly is also telling her daughter about what she would like for her first car. She thought it was going to be a Jeep. I do think a Jeep would be a nice first car. But then Chloe thought she should get a BMW. She was like, you can't afford BMW gas. But then she said, you can. Oh, I know I can because I'm an adult. I work. So I know I can earn the money to pay for a BMW. But you can't. What I'll do is buy the car you should get, but you got to maintain it. Right? And I feel like, yeah, a foreign car like a BMW, which requires a lot of maintenance on it, you don't need that. You need like a Honda Civic or a Hyundai or a Jeep. You know, one of those compact, simple, reliable vehicles, okay? Chloe is on board with trying to help her mom run the restaurant, be a part of the hiring process, and also work in the restaurant. So she wants to earn a living while being there for her mom. That's appreciative. And Kelly is talking about how she needs to get this Sandy's location up and running, because the price went up for everything. It is draining her dry, but they have to get it open and done in time so they can start making some money and making sure her kids are good. She is good. So I am praying for everything for Kelly to get a handle on, because she does have a lot to do. We have Drew. Drew is in her home. I love that they play her song Delusional. That is an amazing song on her album. Her mom hopped on a flight from Chicago to Atlanta to be there for her and the kids. And it's just a lot that she's been dealing with. You know, this divorce she's been going through with Ralph has been about 2 years. And you would think this divorce should have been over and done with. But no, Ralph wants to drag it out because he wants to punish her. He wants to drag it out so he can maintain access to her, suck all of her energy, suck all of the goodness out of her. And it's like, you cannot, okay? So with him trying to get her lawyer recused from the case, she has to go find another lawyer and pretty much start everything over. And to be honest though, Drew, I do think you need a new lawyer, because I'm not sure if the one you had is fighting for you to win in this case. I don't know what she's doing. She probably is an amazing lawyer. She probably has won a lot of cases, but I do think right here, right now, she is not fighting for you like she should have been, because Ralph definitely has a bulldog. You need a fucking shark, all right? But then, you know, as much as he's doing the most to try to tear her down, she lives in land of milk and cookies to believe that her and Ralph have an amazing co-parenting relationship than they were when they were married. And I'm like, oh no, Drew. No. Wake up, baby. Wake up. Get out of the clouds. I know you feel like there's hope for y'all to move forward, but no. And I'm with the mom. The mom said, why would you believe that this man who is trying to tear you down, take away all of your businesses, control what you have going on, to think you guys can have a great co-parenting relationship? Like, I'm not understanding that. He's putting you through all this mess, and you think this man has the best interest of being a good co-parenting relationship with you? Hell no. If he wants to have a great co-parenting relationship with you, he would not have been hurting you so much. He would not be on every single platform and talking about you like this. And specifically the way that the courts are not taking the kids' feelings and mental health into consideration, because this living arrangement is not working out. It's dumb, it's stupid, it is confusing the kids, and I have to agree. Because while her mom has been there helping her with her children, she has seen changes in her grandchildren. She's like, I spend the whole day yelling at them, and that's not good. That's not how I operate when I watch them. When I can't control a child, that's a problem. So Drew did not realize that the mom had seen the changes in her children, so she broke down and cried. She's like, I didn't know you felt that way. I did not know that my kids were not the same. Like, This is my issue. You know, right after Drew realized that her kids are not the same and she walked off, we all see, you know, her taking the time away from the scene. And I feel like this was more of a real vulnerable moment than we've got from Portia, because this is something that Drew is literally dealing with. I don't care what y'all feel about Drew. I don't care if y'all feel like Drew is not being honest or she's playing a character because she's an actress and all this and a third, but she has a lot going on that none of the ladies, besides Angela, I've said it before, are not being there for her. Y'all are too busy trying to hold her feet to the fire over what exactly? What exactly? What exactly has Drew done to any one of y'all? I really want to know for her y'all to be treating her like this. So, because of the situation that her and Ralph are in, her kids are definitely changing. Her kids are definitely responding to it. They are acting out on it. And this was a wake-up call that she needed, because she thought that she was making sure her kids was not noticing the changes. She wanted to keep things all normal, but no, nothing was normal. Everything has changed. Their father lives in the basement. He's not around the house like he used to be. You leave the house 3 times out of the month to give him space. Like, that's something new that they're not used to. Her mom was crying. The chef was there consoling her, wishing she didn't have to go through this. And Drew felt like she failed them. She thought that she kept things normal, did not have anything that they could notice. They would not have acting out on it, but they did. And I hate the fact that it's in the court order that they cannot discuss the divorce. But your kids are old enough to understand. They need to have a real honest conversation. And again, Drew also needs to give her grace about being emotional, so that way her kids can know what's going on. Sometimes being strong and not crying in front of them is not always the case. You gotta let it all out so they can understand how this is making you feel. Okay, so now we end things off with Portia and Shamia. They're having a conversation about salvaging their friendship. And I feel like Shamia was on edge when she came into the restaurant, and I think it went left as soon as Portia received a phone call from her mother. And I don't know why she wanted to make a joke about how her mom didn't like her face, because you have already spoken to Shamia about why your mother doesn't like her. So I'm not here for this type of energy. So let's skip the pleasantries, get down to the nitty gritty. And Shamia apologizes for not telling her that she's felt some ways about their friendship. And she's also handled their friendship with care. She masked a lot of her feelings. So in order for them to move forward, I would want for us to figure out what not to do. And she have never wanted their issues to be out in front of the group. But Shamia, if it wasn't for you confiding in your friendship with these other ladies and have expressed to Portia, you have felt like it was lopsided, we would have never gotten this moment, because you've been afraid of having this conversation. So she lays down on what she doesn't want from Portia moving forward. She doesn't want her talking over her. She didn't like she talked over her music. She doesn't like she makes petty posts about her and tags her in it. And then Portia wants to give off an exaggerated sigh, like she's annoyed, but wants to say it's her taking a breath. No, it wasn't. Like Shamia said, are you tired? Am I boring you? Why are you uncomfortable? You're only uncomfortable because you're being held accountable of how you done your friend in this situation, and you're not ready to accept responsibility. Because while Shamia has said there have been tons of things these ladies have said about you, and I've shut it down with the quickness, but it's not been reciprocated. While you have held Portia down, you have been justifying her reasoning, justifying her wrongdoing. She has not done the same. So with Shamia expressing to her that you've been dismissive towards me, and right now I feel like you're being dismissive about me right now. Because if I was nonverbal and I've done the exact same thing to you, you wouldn't like it. So in regards to how we've had our friendship, there's been some other things that I wish you wouldn't do. You telling me that your mom doesn't like me. You're telling me that your mom have said the apple don't fall far from the tree. How do you think that makes me feel? Portia wants to deflect and say that has nothing to do with her. That wasn't her feelings. Those were her mother's feelings. But why would you feel the need to tell her how your mother has felt? And she's been your friend for over 20 years. So when did your mother felt like she never liked Shamia in the first place? Why? Because she felt the way about Shamia telling Portia that these ladies didn't like her from the beginning? And Shamia defended her by saying, get to know her for yourself. Like, the more and more, I feel like that Diane has poisoned Portia's mind on how to navigate this friendship, because it's something that Miss Diane probably have done in her friendship with Shamia's mom. And she wants the cycle to repeat itself. And then Shamia has also recognized that whenever your mother gets in your ear about me, you play the distance card. You pull back from me. And that is the truth. So all of this had occurred when they were off camera, but Shamia said, if we're not going to have a real conversation, we're going to bring things about what's been said off camera, on camera, because why are we here? Let's talk. Then, as much as what we're talking about off camera, she tells Portia, I want us to be how we are off camera, on camera. Why can't we be that way on camera? Why can't you show up and be a real friend to me on camera like you have been off camera? But then, in an off camera conversation, Portia tells Shamia she needs to be offered more money in order for her to show up like that. Is that what I'm hearing, Portia? You need to be offered more money in order for you to show up for Shamia on camera? That's how much you value your friendship? Yeah, Portia is not a real friend. Portia is selfish. Portia is all about her, and that's all it is, okay? Then when it came down to her addressing her about it, Portia wants to say, why are you trying to have an argument with me on the show? This is not about the show, as Shamia have said. This is not about a storyline. And it's so crazy, though, that Portia wants to now switch, thinking that this is all Shamia needs to do for a moment, which doesn't need a moment. You need a moment because you don't have a storyline. And this is all a bunch of bullshit coming from you, Portia. Like, she is dead in the face. She doesn't have any energy because she cannot handle being a part of this conversation because she knows she's in the wrong. So then Portia also said that once filming have started, their friendship had become strained. So there has not been a lot of them interacting with one another. I feel like once Shamia became a full-time peach holder, you did not get the attention you thought you would have gotten from her because she has her own life. She has been transparent and honest and open about what she has going on, of what we didn't learn about when she was just a friend, and now we're excited about learning this part of her. You felt the way about it because you wanted this to be about you. You expected for your sidekick to be there for you, be all that she needs to be there just for you, and that's not what happened. You definitely lost your shine once Shamia came on the show, and now you want your shine back, which is Shamia playing in the background. So yeah, Shamia becoming a full-time peach holder. We have been able to see things on an even playing field. We now get to see her side of how things have been happening in their friendship versus in only hearing Portia's side. And now we're seeing this friendship have not been reciprocal. The things that Shamia has done for Portia have not been reciprocated back on her. So once telling her how she wants to move forward and telling her the things that she's done, Portia gets up, runs away because she can't handle being accountable. So she gives her a pep talk about how it's okay, you're okay. So she comes out, pretty much wants to rush to get out of this conversation because it's very uncomfortable for her. She wants to get the food to go. It's like, why you want to get the food to go? We're not done. I don't know why she wants to act dumb because while telling Shamia, stop, please stop, it's like, why do I have to stop telling you how I feel? Why should I have to stop when I'm expressing to you how you have treated me, how you have handled me in our friendship? So while Shamia is laying down every single thing that she doesn't want moving forward from Portia in order for them to have a great friendship, Portia did not reciprocate anything. She did not reciprocate an understanding. She just had very little words. She was like, I'm human and I'm just overwhelmed. So when you walk away, you cry. I don't know how to read your mind. I don't know what you're feeling. Because again, when it comes down to how Portia feels, Shamia have masked on what she has going on. Because yes, we all got a lot going on in our lives. Because I never want to bring that to you when you're in a fragile place. I never want to add any more grief what you're already going through. And I just want to scream, Shamia. What grief is Portia going through? A divorce with a man she barely knew? She definitely needed to check on you more than you need to check on her. Because you got a lot going on too, Shamia. You're dealing with a child that has health problems. You are dealing with IVF treatments. You want to give your husband a son. You're putting out music. You have a lot on your plate too, so I don't know why you minimize what you have going on to be there for her ass when she don't care about nobody but herself. That's the thing that I can't stand about you, Shamia. You have a lot to offer. You have a lot going on. People want to know what you have going on. But when you dumb yourself down to only be there for Portia, it's like, why should we care about what you have going on anyway? When you don't even give yourself the shine that you need to give yourself. You need to uplift yourself the way you uplift her. Like, I can't stand how everyone needs to cater to her feelings because she's in a fragile place. She is not that fucking fragile that she can't have an honest conversation how she hasn't been a great friend to you after all these years. You've clearly managed on how to express yourself and still move forward and still focus on what you got going on. You don't succumb with what life is bringing to you. Portia does. Portia likes to run and hide because she can't control it. When she can't control it the way she wants to control it to fit her narrative, to fit how she wants to look, she projects on other people. She creates other situations so she doesn't have to deal with them. So she wants Portia to find the bandwidth to understand that there have been some things that have hurt her. Now she doesn't want to be a big thing, but she doesn't want to feel like she's being dismissed. But again, expressing how she wants Portia to treat her, Portia just can't help herself by fidgeting with the utensils, loudly clanking all the knives, forks, and spoons to move them away because you cannot handle that your best friend is hurt and have expressed to you why she's hurt, and you just, it's crawling under your skin on how to just hear it and accept it and tell her, I am very, very sorry. Couldn't do it. Couldn't do it at all. It was a clear boundary she spoke to you, but you did not want to listen. You did not want to hear her out. You did not want to accept it. You were super, super dismissive. You were acting like a child. And she said, I don't want to break up with you, Shamia. I'm sorry. And I want to fix it. So then they hold hands. The one thing that Shamia has been obviously begging for from Portia is some type of validation, some type of emotion that she wants to fix it. But all throughout that conversation, she gave you her ass to kiss. She didn't take any accountability. She didn't understand where you were coming from. She didn't do none of that. She just wanted to touch you and tell you what you wanted to hear, but not believe it. Like, please. So then y'all all came up with an agreement. If there are some things that you feel, let me know, okay? Let's not talk about other people and let's talk about it together, okay? The fuck? Y'all can't hide with what y'all have going on in y'all friendship when you're on a reality show because we can see it, okay? If you feel like you want to protect this friendship and this friendship isn't worth for us to see on TV, then get off the show, okay? But Shamia is so forgiving. Okay, her mind is in the clouds, believe this is an opportunity for them to really move forward, but let's be real. While you might be ready for a real friendship, she's not. She's not ever going to be a real friend to you. Because if she has treated you like this after being friends with you for how so many years, then she probably has felt about this from you from the beginning. And there's been a lot of debate about, has Portia been envious of Shamia? And I have to agree, yes, she has. Shamia has the talent. She has the life. She has the marriage. She has everything she's ever wanted. And Portia has been trying to find it from other people to create it as if it's her own because she does not have it to have it naturally. She wants to pick apart other things and make it her own picture, her own image. And it never works. Look at what she did. Rushed to get involved with a man she didn't know that was married. Rushed to believe she had this fairy tale happily ever after. It didn't happen. And now here she is. Running from a divorce, running from accountability of the situation that she put herself in and did not care how other people said about it. Now that she's back into this fold, she wants to run away from accountability, run away from the actions she was agreeing to be a part of. So they hug, they do a little titty bump, and then they move forward. But we all know in present time, they're not good. And Shamia, while I understand how you have been hurt in this friendship, you have also have allowed the mistreatment. So it's like I can feel sorry for you, but then I can't feel sorry for you. But I mean, that's it. That's all. I don't have nothing else. Please stay tuned for the next video, and I'm going to see you guys later. Bye.